we'll move into the Chancellor's report. Chancellor?
Thank you, Trustee Bonilla. Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah. Thank you, Trustee Bonilla and members of the board, my colleagues that typically sit on the dais with me, and members of the public. It's my pleasure to give you this report today. I want to start it off with giving some kudos and acknowledgement to Mark Johnson and Angel Hunter and their team in the Marketing, Communications, and Public Relations Department. Angel produced with the team support, produced a video on the College of Alameda's Fab Lab, and that video got picked up with news, on the news, and got picked up in the Inside Higher Ed edition. So there was not only was Inside Higher Ed edition, it was also on television news. And if you'll allow me, I'd just like to play this video. And I don't want to necessarily steal the thunder, but I also know that this video has been, and Angel's work has been nominated for an award with CC Pro, which is a statewide organization for community college public relations officers. And we're not sure whether this is one that's chosen or not, but we strongly believe it's a contender and that it will be, we'll be getting good news about that. But if I can just beg your indulgence and share this video, I'd appreciate it. And I am going to see if, I'm sharing my screen, let's see. I am going to see if I can play this video.
Chancellor, there is no video showing.
Wow.
Gotta love technology.
closed captioning is working though.
It is. I've actually seen the video, so sorry for everyone else if you haven't. But maybe we can provide a link for everyone. Was it in the article?
So I'm understanding that, oops, wait, let me stop sharing that. I'm understanding that you couldn't hear the audio, and no matter what I did, it didn't let you hear it based on the text that I was getting. If you are on the actual item, there is a link that you can click on it and look at it. And I'm sorry that you couldn't hear the audio of that. It's a really powerful video. With that, let me just go on and share some other things with you with this report. Again, first, kudos to Angel Hunter and to Mark and his team for a beautiful video that really highlights the significance of the work that's being done at the colleges. I know at both Laney's Fab Lab and the College of Alameda's Fab Lab. So really kudos and congratulations to you all for producing such a magnificent video. And many thanks to the college, the faculty and staff who are doing that great work. The second thing that I want to do is just simply acknowledge, as I did in my message, to acknowledge the collective and individual pain, anguish, horror, grief that surrounded the murder of Mr. George Floyd, and to say that it's been really, as some of the speakers have talked about, the struggles that the students go through, this too adds to some of their anguish. And in many ways, the students in the community have tried to speak out and to express their concerns and to express, their grief around the state that so many people have been brutalized for, walking, driving, bird watching, eating, drinking coffee, renting an Airbnb, using a coupon, cutting grass, going to work, leaving work, walking home with Skittles, selling water, selling lemonade, playing golf, working late, sleeping in the bed, playing videos, games, playing on the playground, swimming in a pool, and so on. And many people not only are witnessing it, but also experiencing it. There's just about not a Black and brown household that you can address that they don't share their stories or similar experiences. So it's just fundamentally inconceivable, the kind of pain and anguish that I want to acknowledge that our students in our community experience. And so we as an institution, we as individuals, we as professionals across the district and within the state have attempted to speak to these issues. I had the opportunity to work with the executive staff to put out an executive statement that all of you have seen. Additionally, I put out a statement from the Chancellor, and I really appreciate the speakers that have said, yeah, we have to do something. We have to not just talk about it, but we have to do something. And in each of those statements, there's a list of different things that, we propose that we as individuals can do. I also participated in a statewide webinar that the Chancellor's office, Chancellor Oakley's office, featured, and in doing so, had the opportunity to distribute suggestions as well. That statement that I made at the webinar and the suggestions, the very concrete suggestions, got distributed by the Chancellor's office to the entire state as well. And then we also hosted a forum here in this district, which was on racial literacy and critical consciousness. And we had more than, I want to say 225 people attend. Yeah, 225 people attend this 90-minute forum. More than 225 people attended the 90-minute forum, and that included people on Zoom and YouTube, looking at YouTube postings, and it included the faculty, administration, staff. Is something playing in the background? Are you all hearing a playing of the video?
No, only your spoken words, Chancellor.
Yeah,
Okay,
just you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then I would like to go on to say, that, you know, as the birthplace of the Black Panther Party, Peralta Community College District remains at the forefront of this struggle. And on June the 5th, the Oakland chapter of the NAACP organized a political action, activity, and none other than our trustee Meredith Brown spoke, as well as Dr. David Johnson spoke to the community, giving important statements that are underscoring the importance of keeping in mind that despite our collective outrage, we have to bear in mind that this moment is about humanity and morality. And the interesting thing about this event is that it was picked up and live streamed on MSNBC. So with that, I'm sharing the news, activities, efforts of the Peralta Community College District, the celebrations, as well as the struggles that the district has gone through on this, and the commitment that we will continue. And even since then, we got news that a former student who was a former College of Alameda student who was the college student body president was arrested in a very disturbing video, arrested by the Alameda Police Department for quote unquote dancing in the street as he does this routine. He's a martial artist and does this exercise routine. And there is a very disturbing video. And many of the faculty, staff, and students have spoken out about it. It's my intention to connect with the mayor of Alameda in order to express concern and support for the former student, and express concern about the criminalized behavior of simply exercising in the street. And so with that, I'd like to turn over the report to the colleges. But before I do, I just want to take one point of personal privilege and ask you all to join me in congratulating Dr. Tim Karras as we speak. Within the very next day, his name is being forwarded to the Board of Trustees for Mendocino College to be the president there. I did offer my firstborn, but Tim wasn't buying it because course, he's 35 now, so he's not as cute as he used to be, but Tim is going to, with a successful vote tomorrow, is going to be transitioning to be the president at Mendocino College. And I'd like to extend my deep appreciation to him for working with us and being a part of this team. And congratulations to him on being able to pursue the next chapter of his professional journey. And with that, I'll turn it over to the college presidents for their report. And why don't we start with Dr. Karras?
All right. Thank you very much, Chancellor. Yeah, tomorrow will be a very interesting day, potentially. So I'm just so blessed to be part of Peralta and College of Alameda. The island is just fantastic, so I really appreciate it. I'll probably have more eloquent words later. It's just overwhelming to be transitioning to the superintendent president of Mendocino College, but it'll be good, I think. So I don't want to take up time about myself, because that's not what I do. And I wish I could have lots of, usually president's reports are really great. Like we always talk about really, really happy things like the PPE video that just happened, which is fantastic. I just want to give a little bit of time because I really appreciate the chancellor mentioning the report that came out on the news over the weekend about one of our students who was detained and arrested in Alameda on May 23rd. Mr. Watkins was dancing in the street. So if you see the video, it is disturbing. Mr. Watkins was a student at COA in 2010. He was our valedictorian, and he was the president of our associated student body. He was an EOPS student, and so he is still a member of the COA family. And I think that is first and foremost, and we support him. We've reached out, of course, being an EOPNS student, his EOPNS counselors have, I think, already mobilized how they do because they support their students so well. And we've contacted him to say we support him and we love him. And so I just really wanted to share that and just how thankful I am to have had to work with many of you over the past 6 years at Peralta in both my roles as president and as vice president of instruction at COA. And COA is a gem, and it has a great new building coming. So thank you very much. And hopefully invite me to the groundbreaking, please. Okay, great, thanks.
All right, thank you, Dr. Karras. And let's go to Dr. Angélica Garcia with Berkeley City College.
Good evening. Buenas noches. You members of the board and the community, my fellow colleagues, you certainly have the report for Berkeley City College, but I want to take a moment to highlight a little bit more in the work to respond to the community regarding what is necessary right now for supporting students, the community, faculty, classified professionals, and administrators, and really its connection to the racial justice work that's necessary during this time. In the board report, I did share the letter to the campus community, and really am moved and inspired by the researcher scholar, Dr. Ibram Kendi, who wrote the text, How to Be an Anti-Racist, and also first wrote Stand from the Beginning. The clarity with which Dr. Kendi basically shares that one can be, in essence, a nice person or a kind person, but still engage in promoting racist policies and practices is an interesting space. And it's one that, as our educational institutions, we must address head on. So some actions that you will be seeing coming from Berkeley City College are that we are pulling together a college task force that's going to focus on measurable outcomes. And more specifically, I want to share some data, because one of the components around engaging in action means acting towards a something and achieving a something. And when it comes to matters of student equity, African-American students at Berkeley City College comprise 16% of our total population, yet they historically are still at some of the lower completion rates. That is not a student problem. That is a college and an institutional problem to address, and we must do our work to identify those points in which our practices, our processes are contributing to that. Likewise, 26% of our student population identify as Latinx. And though they represent the largest body within Berkeley City College, they still do not complete at rates as their white and Asian American students. Again, that's not a student issue or a problem, that's an institution. What is it about us that we need to work on? So I look forward to sharing as this next academic year rolls out, the work of this task force, the focus on student equity data, completion rates, closing those equity gaps. And another action item, which this is actually an invitation to the board, in case you are not feeling like you have enough to read, the Berkeley City College leadership team is engaging in a reading, reflection, and response series. And we're beginning with the book, How to Be an Anti-Racist by Dr. Ibram Kendi. Then we will move forward with the book, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, who is a critical scholar and researcher on whiteness and how to engage this work with white allies and colleagues, and then close with Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me. So it's an open invitation actually to any of the colleagues on this call. It's the leadership team is taking it on, but it's an open invitation to faculty, classified professionals who want to engage with the work in earnest, that we need to do the work individually, that we must operate from that frame. So I share that because the events of the last week have taken me through moments of just sheer rage and outrage. And certainly as someone who identifies as a woman of color, a queer woman of color, there are a lot of discriminations and aggressions towards a variety of communities. But it is clear to me that right now we must center Blackness. We must be and support the anti-racist, anti-sexist movements. And so I'm excited and I'm hopeful that the Berkeley City College community will do our part to support this district in achieving the goal of supporting community and students. And lastly, I'll just share with you that a very good colleague of mine was a co-author of an open letter to Sesame Street. I don't know if anyone has small children or grandchildren, but Sesame Street held a town hall that was for young children. And though it was beautiful and created a space, the open letter by these women of color with small children basically call out that it's not enough to code that we be nice to one another. It's not about kindness and it's not about niceness. It is about intentional, active dismantling of policies and processes that aim to harm people. So I have 2 young children. We have been in these conversations for the better part of the last week and engaging with the campus community. I am hopeful with the level of healing and sharing that our campus community has come together. And lastly, every Friday we started last week with World Central Kitchen. We have another food disbursement happening this Friday. And since then, we've realized that some of our students are presenting with a lot of pain. And so just the sheer being able to see a friendly face in the community, we received some notes from students that they were hopeful and grateful for that. So welcome anyone who wants to join us at Berkeley City College at 11:30 a.m. on Fridays. And with that concludes my comments for this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Garcia. Let me go to Dr. Johnson.
Thank you. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chancellor, Presidents, faculty, staff, students, and viewing public. I'm pleased to share this Board of Trustees report with you. Start with some good news. Merritt College recently applied for and was awarded monies from the First Response Healthcare Student Support Fund. What this fund does, it enables Merritt College in partnership with the Peralta College Foundation to provide critical support funds and the amount between $300 to $500 to students who meet the following 2 criteria. Number 1, they needed to be enrolled in our nursing program in spring 2020. And number 2, they needed to demonstrate financial hardship either through the loss of primary income because of COVID-19, or have a pre-existing low income status as indicated by being eligible for a Promise Grant or a Pell Grant. And specifically these funds, we're very excited that these funds are going to ensure that our nursing students can stay enrolled and complete their college programs, and at the same time help address the state's larger pressing need to transition qualified healthcare folks back into the healthcare system, given the pandemic that we are still experiencing. I mean, I know there's a lot of things going on, but we can't lose sight that this is still a thing. I'd also like to talk about, after much conversation, much like President Garcia, we finally had our first grab and go on May 28th, our first grab and go out in East Oakland. We passed out meals, supplies, clothing, and information to community members. It kind of seems like we're getting the hang of it because we've done it every Tuesday and Thursday. I'd like to thank Trustee Handy came out and was very, very excited to have her, and she was very energetic and passing out meals and going even within the neighboring businesses and making sure that we serve where the need is great. So I encourage all Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 to 12, right across from Eastmont Mall, if you want to continue to be part of that. I want to also express my gratitude for being able for having space to do what the other presidents have done, what the Chancellor has done. I've seen academic senates do it, and others in terms of putting a statement out with regard to, in response to the killing of the murder of George Floyd. I think that's been very constructive so far. We had the opportunity last week to have a forum, a district-wide forum that I think was kind of provided the seedbed for some other things. So I just want to express my appreciation for being able to do that. I also, as the Chancellor mentioned, had the opportunity to participate in the Lifting Up Black Lives rally this past Friday that was sponsored by the NAACP. A lot of faith-based leaders and community leaders participated in that. I want to thank Trustee Brown and the Chancellor for giving me the platform to speak at that event, and for just the district's leadership in general during this historically significant point in time. I do want to let you know at Merritt College, we're putting together a forum in the upcoming days, tentatively titled Black and Blue, Conversations on Race, Education, and Policing. And it's really a space to create a dialogue with the community, with Black law enforcement officers about systemic issues and next steps. One of the things that's unique to Merritt is this juxtaposition, being the home of the Panthers and having a long history of social activism, but we also have an administration of justice program where we have several African-American instructors who have had long careers and distinguished careers in law enforcement. So I think it just creates a very interesting space to have some of these difficult conversations. So please be looking out for that. And that concludes my report from Merritt College. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. And if I can last go to Dr. Gilkerson with Laney College.
Thank you, Chancellor Stroud, and good evening, Board of Trustees, my colleagues, and the Peralta Community College District community, as well as community members who are joining us tonight. Something that Dr. Garcia said tonight really actually resonates with me quite a bit. Much of what she said resonates with me, but I want to say something about the work in earnest. And I do really believe that tonight my report is a reflection of the work in earnest that Laney College has been doing for decades to support our communities and to uplift and uphold that Black Lives Matter. And in many ways, what I'm going to share tonight is a little video that actually just came out. And so I think it will be of particular interest to many of our trustees because you've had interest in this. So I know Trustee Brown and Trustee Weinstein in particular, but tonight I'm going to be highlighting the work of the Restoring Our Communities program and the Clean Slate program from Alameda County Public Defender's Office. And so I will share right now and believe that this is the antidote, and much of the work is the answer to what's happening now. So let me cue it up.
You know, I applied for a place to live, you know, on my own. I turned in all my documents, and the manager was like, you know, we do a background check at the end after I do the tour, and I'm walking out the door, like, I'll be back tomorrow. And she said that, and I'm just like, oh, it's all good. But then, you know, I'm walking out, and I'm like, oh.
When I got out, all I had was the clothes on my back that didn't fit. like I feel capable of doing anything, right? But like it doesn't, I feel like the world is gonna block me from it, right? Because like I'm just one of many people with a criminal record.
A criminal conviction, a jail sentence, even after somebody's probation is over or charges are dismissed, can have a profound impact on people's lives in terms of their ability to get housing, their ability to get jobs, or to seek other educational or certifications.
Clean Slate is where you can come to our office. They look at your past, at your record, at your prior convictions and run-ins with the law, and they let you know which convictions, if they're felonies, if they're eligible to be reduced to misdemeanors, and if misdemeanors can be dismissed.
We have seen that helping folks to get convictions dismissed, to terminate probation, and to better understand their rights around occupational licensing and criminal background checks not only gives them confidence to apply for jobs, but also has helped them secure employment and occupational licenses, which helps them achieve self-sufficiency, helps their families, and helps our community.
When I was in jail, we had this saying called public pretenders, which we refer to the public defenders. Mainly because it never seemed like they actually cared, like we were just a number on a caseload. Going through this clean slate process and actually sitting down with someone from the public defender's office, it was great just knowing that somebody actually cared. Like it changed my perception of the public defender's office.
I got the sense that the people who I was dealing with cared, you know what I mean? So that was a good look, and it was free.
With the clean slate, it was very scary at first for me because I wasn't really used to telling anybody my personal information. It was kind of like going into a past that I really didn't want to talk about or bring up.
In the process of doing Clean Slate, I met with a lawyer once. I spoke with a lawyer a few times over the phone, but in all reality, my actual contact with the process was minimal beyond, providing my details.
And I had an issue with not reaching out to ask for help. So being in the ROC program, being around you guys kind of like helped me to get past that. It really did, especially if it was a stranger.
There were staff members at ROC that were formerly incarcerated, made it way more comfortable for me to open up and for me to talk to without the fear of being judged.
I'm able to have an empathy and connection with students that I wouldn't be able to have had I not had the experiences I had, both the very painful and bad, and also the positive while incarcerated. What we provide goes far beyond the material resources, and I would say it really offers a student the chance to be themselves.
That's a really unique feature about our program, is that we provide clean slate services to remove barriers for when people get their degrees, that they don't have an issue with getting a job.
The partnership between ROC and Clean Slate is so effective because the two programs have a shared vision of helping people reach their full potential, and they understand it's important to meet people where they are.
Clean Slate and ROC have given me a power by realizing that this program exists, and by allowing for them to empower me. I don't worry about my past determining my future.
I think that what is so scary for people about the system is all of the things that they don't know. That's why really we have attorneys and people who specialize in Clean Slate. It's because we do this work every day and we know the ins and outs of what could happen and what will happen. And that, just being able to offer that information to people is often a source of a lot of relief.
I'm happy. You know, it felt real good. It felt real good. I called my mom, you know, like, yo, guess what?
Going through the Clean Slate program really, really, really built my confidence up to want to apply, you know, start applying for jobs.
By the way, yes, I got my slate clean, so I'm very excited about that. And I just want to say, for those of you that are out there, believe in yourself and do the work. It helps. And that's what Rock did for me. They did a great job for me. I want to thank them so much.
I just have so much more freedom. I haven't applied for other jobs yet, but like I know that if I apply, then they won't know that I used to be a felon. I had to like catch myself that I'm not a felon.
It's really my gratitude to Roger Chung for his leadership, Vincent Garrett, Alejandra Landon. This is a program by and for formerly incarcerated students. And so just want to thank again the board for their support for Laney College and for programs like these that really do provide that next step. And multiple students in that video transferred on to UC Berkeley and other schools. And I will say that Vincent Garrett, who was also there, who I'll highlight later tonight in a presentation, was a graduate of Merritt College, formerly incarcerated, and also went on to UC Berkeley and is now working and supporting our program. So my thanks again to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Gilkerson. And Trustee Bonilla, Madam President, that concludes my Chancellor's report.
Thank you so much. Yes, thanks to all the presidents for their reports. Congratulations, Tim Karras. And what a beautiful video to end the president's reports on. Thank you, President Gilkerson.